Homicide's a homicide.
Speak freely. This should not be his first assignment.
I've worked homicide 5 years.
Not here.
No fingerprints, no witnesses of any kind.
It means that this is beginning.
The 1995 psychological crime thriller, Se7en, stands as one of the most haunting and methodically constructed films of its era, a grim descent into the darkest corners of human morality and obsession. Set in a nameless, rain-soaked city that feels suffocating and decayed, the film captures a world where hope is scarce and corruption seeps into every crack of society. Directed by David Fincher, the movie doesn't simply tell a story of crime and punishment. It explores the philosophical and psychological implications of sin, justice, and the fragile boundary between righteousness and madness. From its opening moments, the atmosphere is oppressive, drenched in a constant drizzle that mirrors the moral rot festering within the city. The tone is relentless, offering no comfort, only a slow, deliberate unraveling of a case that becomes more disturbing with each revelation. At the center of the narrative are two detectives whose contrasting personalities shape the investigation in profound ways. Morgan Freeman portrays William Somerset, a seasoned, introspective detective on the brink of retirement, a man who has seen too much of humanity's darkness and has grown weary of it. His worldview is cynical, yet deeply thoughtful, grounded in experience and a quiet sense of moral reflection. Opposite him is David Mills, played by Brad Pitt, a younger, impulsive detective driven by ambition and a desire to make a difference. Mills is passionate but inexperienced, often allowing emotion to cloud his judgment, creating tension between them as the case grows more disturbing. This dynamic becomes the emotional backbone of the film, as the two men navigate not only a gruesome case, but also their conflicting beliefs about justice, morality, and the value of human life. A case begins with a gruesome murder that appears at first glance to be another instance of senseless violence in a city already drowning in crime. However, it quickly becomes clear that this is something far more calculated and sinister. The killer is not acting out of impulse, but following a meticulously planned design rooted in the concept of the 7 deadly sins: gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride, and lust. Each murder is staged as a grotesque representation of one of these sins, turning the victims into symbols rather than individuals. This chilling framework transforms the investigation into a macabre puzzle, forcing the detectives to think not just like law enforcers, but like philosophers, attempting to understand the mind of someone who sees themselves as an instrument of moral reckoning. As the investigation unfolds, the film delves deeper into the psychological toll it takes on both detectives. Somerset approaches the case with intellectual detachment, researching historical and literary references to the 7 deadly sins, attempting to predict the killer's next move through logic and pattern recognition. Mills, on the other hand, reacts emotionally, becoming increasingly frustrated by the brutality of the crimes and the apparent helplessness of the situation. The tension between them intensifies as the case grows more disturbing, highlighting the different ways individuals cope with exposure to extreme violence and moral decay. A crucial aspect of the story is the presence of Tracy, portrayed by Gwyneth Paltrow, who serves as a grounding force amidst the chaos. As Mills's wife, she represents a fragile sense of normalcy and hope, someone who was deeply affected by the oppressive environment of the city. Her interactions with Somerset further explores themes of fear, disillusionment, and the longing for a better life, further contrasting the bleakness of the world they inhabit. The killer himself remains an enigmatic presence for much of the film, operating from the shadows while leaving behind carefully orchestrated crime scenes that double as grotesque works of art. His actions are not random, but deliberate, each one designed to send a message and provoke thought. This intellectual dimension makes him particularly terrifying, as he is not driven by chaos, but by a twisted sense of order and purpose. When he finally reveals himself, the film shifts into an even more intense psychological confrontation, forcing the detectives and the audience to grapple with the unsettling logic behind his actions. What sets this story apart is its refusal to offer easy answers or conventional resolutions. The narrative builds towards a climax that is both shocking and inevitable, a culmination of the themes that have been carefully woven throughout the film. The final act strips away any illusion of control or justice, leaving behind a raw and unsettling truth about the nature of evil and the consequences of human weakness. It challenges the audience to question their own perceptions of morality and justice, blurring the line between right and wrong in a way that lingers long after the story concludes. Visually, the film is a masterclass in atmosphere and tone. The cinematography emphasizes darkness and decay, using muted colors and shadowy compositions to create a sense of claustrophobia and unease. The city itself becomes a character. Its constant rain and oppressive architecture reflects the moral emptiness at the heart of the story. This visual style, combined with a haunting score, reinforces the film's themes and enhances its emotional impact, drawing the audience deeper into its unsettling world. The release of Se7en in 1995 marked a significant moment in the evolution of the thriller genre. It distinguished itself from other crime films of the time by prioritizing psychological depth and thematic complexity over action and spectacle. The film's marketing hinted at its dark and mysterious nature, with trailers that emphasized suspense and intrigue without revealing the full extent of its disturbing content. This approach contributed to its impact, allowing audiences to experience the story's twists and revelations without prior knowledge. The performances of the cast play a crucial role in bringing the story to life. Morgan Freeman delivers a nuanced portrayal of a man grappling with disillusionment and moral fatigue, while Brad Pitt captures the volatility and idealism of a younger detective confronting the harsh realities of his profession. Gwyneth Paltrow adds emotional depth, providing a human perspective that grounds the narrative amidst its darkness. Together, their performances create a compelling and emotionally resonant dynamic that enhances the film's overall impact. In the years since its release, Se7en has remained a defining work within the thriller genre, often cited as a benchmark for storytelling, atmosphere, and psychological complexity. Its exploration of the 7 deadly sins as a framework for examining human behavior continues to resonate, offering a timeless commentary on the darker aspects of human nature. Ultimately, the power of Se7en lies in its ability to unsettle and provoke thought. It is not merely a story about a serial killer, but a meditation on the nature of sin, the limits of justice, and the fragile line between order and chaos. By the time the credits roll, the audience is left with a lingering sense of unease, a reflection of the film's central message that the world is often far darker and more complex than we would like to believe.